And that's when Billy realized that the sandwiches his mommy and daddy were making all along came from the chopped up body parts of dead animals. Hey everybody, welcome back to Conscientious Omnivore. My name is Pal. Started with a little bit of humor here, or kind of dark humor, sick humor, black humor, whatever you want to call it. Happy Halloween to everybody, I guess. That's the first thing I wanted to say real quick. And yeah, just it kind of, I touched on this on a video a while back where I was telling you guys about doing the work in my attic space and not being able to stand up and feeling really confined and feeling kind of some of the uncomfortableness that I'm sure all the farmed animals in factory farms feel, or even just non-factory farmed animals when they're on their way to slaughter. That fear and terror, and Halloween being kind of a typical time when people actually kind of enjoy being scared or watching horror movies or zombie movies or what have you. I thought it would be a good time to kind of just touch on this idea and also talk about something that I've talked a lot about with people on Twitter, and kind of talked about in videos as well, with regards to my own kids and thinking about a vegan world in the future. And one of the things that I think, if we had a vegan world where nobody would ever assume that that animals were being killed for our own use, either for food or for other purposes like clothing or what have you. I really truly think that if you took an adult person, or let's say a young adult, let's say an 18, 19, 20-year-old, whatever, even a 16-year-old, and you said to them, here's this cool sandwich, do you want to have it? And if they didn't know any better and they didn't know what was in it and they just ate it and they said, oh, it's really good, what's in there? And then you told them like the whole process of what went into that, and you showed them not some marketed up, tarted up version of the pretty farm and the free range animals and you sing the lullaby to kill the animal, but like the reality, showing the factory farms conditions, showing all the animals that get killed just for not growing fast enough or what have you, and the horrific ways that they get killed even under humane regulations like the RSPCA allows. And then you showed them the horrific, brutal, horror movie-esque slaughter of these said animals, and then you showed them like, here's how you cook it, and this is the last part that you eat it. I really truly believe that those people would be absolutely horrified, and they would be in no way, shape, or form ever wanting to consume that product again, whether it be clothing or food or whatever. And I really think that the only reason why we get to a point where, as adults, we think it's okay for whatever reason, or we look past that, even if we don't think it's good enough for our eyes, but we still think it's good enough for our stomach or our taste buds. I think the only reason why we can get to that point is through the very, very serious indoctrination period that lasts pretty much your whole, childhood. From the time that people are the tiniest little babies before they can even speak, we're already shown images of farm animals and cute little, lambs and pigs and chickens, and we're already told that these animals give their products to us. They give us eggs, they give us bacon, they give us ham, they give us all these things, they give us milk. And if you are brought up with that, it's really hard to go against that. It's so ingrained, it's so much of a core belief. This is why people like Melanie Joy have termed, carnism an actual kind of belief system, because it is a belief system. When people say that, vegans are pushing their ideology on kids when, we want to raise our own kids as vegans, it's really actually shocking that they don't see the hypocrisy and the kind of like the craziness of it. Because what I've, said to my own parents is like, they're upset that, I don't raise my kids eating animal products, and they don't understand that they didn't give me a choice. I ate whatever they ate, and every parent does this. Every normal parent does what they think is best for their kid. And obviously, if that's the way you were brought up, that's the way you were raised, that's probably what you're going to think is the best the best way forward, the best thing to do. So it's, becoming vegan is actually a way of seeing the world in a different way than from, the way you were raised. Unless you were raised vegan, obviously, but for me, it's actually looking through all that indoctrination, looking through and past all the stuff that I held as very, very strong beliefs for myself, even as a kid and a young adult, and much of my adult life, sadly. And it's actually, the opposite of a cult. It's like waking up from a cult. Like it's like leaving the cult. It's leaving the cult of carnism. It's leaving the cult of thinking that it's okay to exploit these animals when we absolutely don't need to. And I think some of it is, people don't know any better, and that's why I focus a lot of my channel on things like health-related topics and things like that, and trying to really, get people to get past the notion that we need animal products, to be healthy and happy and what have you. And once you kind of see past that, I think it's a lot easier to really question those, those lifestyles of what we're doing. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I really wanted to say in this video. I think, if anybody wants to see a horror movie like I've talked about before, go watch one of these, documentaries like Earthlings, like Dominion. They are probably the scariest things you'll ever see in your whole life, and because it's real. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to leave it here. If anybody hasn't seen my video from a while back, I can't even remember if it was last year or the year before, but I did one about All Saints Day or All Souls Day. There was actually a vegan saint that I talked a lot about, and I think if anybody hasn't seen that video, I do have a lot of new subscribers, so thank you to everybody who's signed up recently. You can go check out that older video. I'll link it at the end. There's a lot of people, like here in Europe especially, that go and celebrate by going to the cemetery and paying their respects to their loved ones or family and friends and stuff that have passed away. And that's an interesting video if anybody's interested in that topic. I'll put it at the end. Check it out. And thanks everybody for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.